Ladies, gentlemen, and destined ones of all ages, when it comes to Black Myth Wukong, for a game that is being called linear simply for not being a fully open world game, there is so much missable, optional stuff laying around the place. At least a third, if not half of the items that you can get in this game are from optional paths that you could just run past. Same with the actual bosses of the game too. A ton of them are just not a requirement of the main story, and that means that there's also a lot that you could be missing out on. Today we're going to talk about the secrets waiting for you in Chapter 4, but we'll be splitting this one into two parts, as Chapter 4 is a sprawling just labyrinth of a location. There are 20 shrines total in this chapter, and we'll cover the first 10 of them today, including the first area, the village of Lindsay, the majority of the webbed hollow area as well, up to and including the Hut of Immortality main progress shrine, which doesn't have any secrets at it. As usual, while I will be trying to actually be as thorough as possible, generally I will be focusing on anything that either gives you equipment, power, or stats in some way, or leads to an optional boss or NPC quest progress, rather than stopping for every chest with 2 silk in it, and of course we won't be stopping on anything that's just particularly obvious on the main path unless it's particularly important. Starting off then, there are 2 secrets in the first area. From the Estate of the Zoo Shrine, you will progress through until you hit a main story boss right here, the Second Sister. When she is defeated, there will be a big hole in the ground, which is the main path forwards, but if you instead go around the hole to the back side of the area, you will find a small chest with a permanent maximum health gain boost instead. The second one, then you actually must have defeated the Second Sister boss and then rested since, so likely this will come upon returning to the area a second time, and the fun part is that this guy is basically in the same place that you fought the boss, just up and left of the shrine itself. Kill him and you will get the Lantern Holder Spirit. This summons homing wisp projectiles for the active effect, and the passive equip effect is an increase to will gained from enemies, which is specifically the currency of the game. This doesn't affect experience gain. Then with that we move into the region that we will spend the rest of the day, the Webbed Hollow, a labyrinth of webbed passageways through a seemingly endless cave. From the Upper Hollow Shrine, which you'll get just as a part of the main progress, turn literally directly backwards and head down this path in case you miss these things on the way in. There are 2 things down here that you should make sure that you don't miss: a small chest with some free consumables, and then a much larger chest with the Curio Jin Yin belt hook. Hopefully I didn't butcher that pronunciation, but this is a curio that gives you moderate poison resistance, a bit niche but useful within its niche, which is honestly a lot of this level. Back to the shrine then, turn left and head up the narrow stone stairway, and if you follow this path through, including jumping past what could falsely be recognized as an invisible wall, then in this building at the top you will find a chest with the Goji Shoot Soak. This increases the duration of the Ring of Fire spell when using it after drinking from the gourd with it equipped. Past that, I'm showing you another path from the shrine to something separate, but while we walk through here, I should point out that you generally want to destroy the egg sacs as you progress through these caves. These can give you 2 separate things as RNG drops: rice cocoons, which are a key item that you will want 3 of later for a separate secret, as well as the spine in a sack curio, which moderately increases your own poison damage. The easiest path to do this then is where I've been walking through right now. For you, there will be a ton of egg sacs along the path. For me, I've already destroyed them and got my loot, so I can show you this sort of naturally. As you reach this part of the path then, with the sort of upper ledge on the left, you can progress through the tunnel that you want to take a right turn ahead, and this will lead you to the Beetle Captain that is lit with blue flames. Kill this and you'll be given the Beetle Captain Spirit to absorb, which dodges attacks by flying into the air before dropping with a big attack on landing as the active, and the passive equip effect is a moderate maximum stamina increase. As well, behind the enemy after defeating them is a chest with a pretty valuable crafting material inside. Back to the Upper Hollow Shrine then. I'll just let the full path to the Pool of Shattered Jade Shrine play out, as that shrine entirely is optional with not much of note along the pretty long path towards it. that you're here, activate the shrine of course, but then head back and right immediately to find a meditation spot for a free spark for your skill tree. After that, back from the shrine, head forwards and right through the cocoon-filled tunnel, which by the way is an excellent XP farming location, and right behind this is a giant cocoon, which is technically speaking an optional boss itself, as it has the named boss health bar of Odd Cocoon when you hit it, but the truth is that this is actually housing the proper optional boss, the Venom Taoist. Defeat him and he will leave through a weird like centipede portal thing, and you won't get anything for it the first time, but this step is necessary for not only fighting him a second time later on, but unlocking the proper full secret area for Chapter 4, which is very important. With this then, head to the Verdure Bridge Shrine, as this is a main path shrine, I'll be assuming that you have it. If not, it's just near the Beetle Captain Spirit that we talked about earlier. From here then, if you head forwards and left, you will find some talking lanterns hanging from an archway, and a cutscene will play as you approach. After the cutscene, enter the room behind them and open the chest for a load of useful materials, consumables, recipes, and even the Xiang River Goddess Gourd for moderate burn resistance and immunity from lava-covered terrain, as well as having 8 gourd uses by default, but not being upgradable like the standard one. You could be forgiven for thinking that this is the end of this little area, but behind this room, through a bunch of webs if you continue forward, is the Elder Amourworm optional boss. This one isn't too tough, so make short work of it, and your reward will be the proto amourworm. What is this? Well, it may not be quite obvious, but you want to bring this to Loong at the Zodiac Village, assuming that you unlocked that area back in Chapter 3. After doing so, rest and the proto amourworm will show up just outside of the stone wall beside Loong. Now you want to feed it, and what it eats are the rice cocoons that we talked about being RNG drops earlier. Specifically, you need to feed it 3 of these. After each one fed, an animation will play out, and then you can actually feed it again after a moment. After you feed it 3 times, go back to the shrine and then rest. Then come back here and there will be a spirit here for you to pick up. The Elder Amourworm Spirit. The active effect sprays venom on the ground to build up poison bane on groups, and the passive equip effect is an increase to critical chance while you are poisoned yourself. While we're here, something that I missed telling you about in Chapter 3 in the Zodiac Village, I made sure that you can actively challenge the blacksmith through a dialogue option and get him as a boss fight to unlock a transformation spell, but it's important to mention, after you do that, if you successfully beat him in the challenge, if you talk to him again, you can ask him about having more curio slots, and you will just be given a 3rd curio slot as a result, as well as the ability to craft his entire armor set now, so now you know, a nice important bonus right there. Back to the Verdure Bridge Shrine then, go forwards, and you can now jump down to skip some travel, and head left at the fork here. Here for the general main path. As you head towards the larger opening sort of village area here, there will be a blue glowing giant scorpion enemy. Kill them, and not only will you get the deathstinger soak for your gourd, which makes you poison yourself when you drink, and yeah, that maybe sounds like a negative on its own, but it has interesting synergy potential with other various items that boost you when you are poisoned. As well, you can absorb the spirit of this enemy for use, the Scorpion Prince Spirit. The active effect causes poison damage in a small area, with bonus damage while they stand in the area, which is a neat bonus too. Then for the passive equip effect is a moderate poison damage increase just in general. There is also a fragrant vine for gourd upgrading on the tree in the center of this platform, so worth mentioning that too. Then if you head down these stairs from here and follow along, on your left but lit up is just a wall of cocoons. Pop them open so you can get through, and behind this you will find another enemy lit up with fire, the Puppet Spider. Defeat them and again you will get their spirit as an item, the Puppet Spider Spirit. The active effect of this just claws at enemies a bunch, but the passive equip effect is Slowed Decay of Might, which is specific to transformation spells and their strongest moves, so it is niche, but it is useful. Back to the village area with the Scorpion Prince then, head up the stairs through here and make sure that you walk towards the purple glowing little shrine. A cutscene will play introducing you to a new optional quest for this area, which involves removing these talismans. This is the first one, there are 3 more throughout the chapter, and it's important to mention that if you kill the final boss of Chapter 4 or even start the encounter with it, it does seem to break this, so you want to get these picked up and found first. Follow the path forward here towards the next main shrine, but make sure to stop at the glowing pillar for a meditation spot to gain a free spark for your skill tree before continuing on to the shrine itself. This shrine then is the Middle Hollow, and our next secret is meeting up with a familiar NPC, the Horseguy, who will only be here if you have seen him in the prior chapters. Given that I missed talking about him when covering Chapter 3, I will go back and tell you where he is there right now so that you can see him first. From the new Thunderclap Temple entrance shrine, you want to head forward through the first main building, then up the stairs, going left specifically. Then you want to find the entrance on the left side of this area to the main building in the back. There are stairs inside of here that you can go up, and if you follow the sort of balcony on the outside, northward like so, you'll find the Horsewhite sitting behind a pillar. For this, you also get the Trailblazer's Scarlet Gourd, which has the special effect of restoring full health if used on full charges. Back to Middle Hollow then, forward and right will bring you to an optional boss that you can just sort of walk around, the Centipede Guai. This Guai gives you a spirit as reward, with the active attack making you roll towards enemies, which is pretty funny, and the passive equip effect giving you increased movement speed in general, which is a pretty rare effect in the game. After defeating him, find the tunnel leading through this area and follow it along. As you progress, you will hit just an obtusely large cocoon, the largest one so far aside from maybe the Venom Taoist from earlier. Hit this cocoon and a cutscene will play revealing that you just freed the Horsewhite NPC. Exhaust his dialogue here and he'll be back to say hi again later in Chapter 5. Continue along this path past him then for the Cliff of Oblivion main path shrine. Backwards from here, you may well have just sort of walked past it. You can find the second of the purple talismans for collection in a small pond right over here. From the Cliff of Oblivion shrine then, a boss will appear when you progress forwards. Defeat the boss here and they will basically turn into a bridge when you kill them. Follow down this until you hit this fork right here where you have torches on the right or a drop to a wooden bridge on the left. The right side is the main path, the left side leads to a bunch of optional goodies. Follow the left side past the bridge then and onwards and it'll take you eventually to the hidden relief of the Fallen Loong shrine. Directly up and right beside this shrine, only if you had defeated the other 3 secret Loong bosses in the previous chapters before this point, you will find Yellow Loong, the final of this quartet. He is by far the hardest of the 4 and honestly one of the hardest bosses in the game until this point, so treat him with respect. When you defeat him though, you will get the last main required material to make your first mythical weapon, the Golden Loong Staff. This has incredible attack and the bonus effects of bonus damage with pillar stance moves, as well as creating a Thunder Dragon when executing a pillar stance heavy attack with 3 or more focus points built up. This is just extremely powerful. As for the Kun Steel material requirement for this, you will get that just sort of automatically from the Yao Guai King bosses later in Chapter 4. Aside from that, defeating Yellow Loong also gets you a new transformation spell, Golden Lining. This turns you into Yellow Loong yourself, gives you shock immunity, and honestly just a really strong, cool transformation. Solid light attacks a strong heavy attack, but this transformation can perform varied combos, letting you use a heavy attack within your light attack combo, and doing this when an enemy is about to hit you will count as seeing through them, just like using Smash Dance yourself. This will grant you a focus point for doing it and negate the incoming damage of the attack, and if you do the heavy attack while you have focus points from this, it will change it completely into a devastating combo that drains all focus. All in all, it's just very, very cool. As if that wasn't enough though, this guy will also drop you a curio, the Golden Carp Curio, which just gives you a higher chance of having enemies drop materials on death. From this same shrine, head left instead, and along this path, there is an open cave area. Take the right path from here and you'll find another blue flame-lit enemy. This is a bit of an irritating fight because of where it is, but when you kill the blue flame-lit enemy, you can absorb their spirit for the Puppet Tick Spirit. The active effect of this summons spiders to assist you in combat, dealing poison damage on death as well. The passive equip effect then is a large mana reduction cost for a Pluck of Many, which is an incredibly interesting passive move. Back from the relief of the Fallen Loong shrine then, head left this time to the open cave area again, but this time we're going left instead of right, and then at the next fork we're going to be taking a right and hugging the left side of the larger open area at the top of the hill to find the third of our purple talismans to remove. That is it for this side area then, so now we head down to the lower hollow shrine on the main path. From this shrine you want to turn around, and on your left side against the wall near the end of the room, there will be an interactable crack that you can actually crawl through. Follow this up to find a free meditation spot for an extra spark for your skill tree. With that, we have one final secret for this section for this video as part 1 of the chapter, and it is another optional boss, this time the frog boss of Chapter 4, as there is one of these in each chapter. As for how to get to it, from the meditation spot that we just went to specifically, if you turn around from here, you'll actually find another cave entrance that you can follow for an upper section of this area. Keep following this upwards and along, and you will eventually find the frog boss just sitting in a pond that you can drop into. The pure rewards from this fight are just some materials, honestly, but you need to kill all the frog bosses in the game if you want the achievement for this later on. That just about does it for today then, everyone. Part 2 will come relatively soon as well for this chapter. This one is just so sprawling that it needed that extra bit of love and care by splitting it up, and I needed to do this to honestly not have a massive headache myself trying to organize the whole area too, just because of how it is. I hope you've enjoyed this, and hopefully I've found some things that you may have missed that will improve your journey moving forwards. Like if you liked the video, subscribe to the notification bell for more, and most importantly, ladies and gentlemen, until next time, stay sweet. Josh, Cotton, and Hollow with the videos, dropping the humor like a hammer on your tippy toes, bringing entertainment on a daily arrangement to take our insanity and turn it into entertainment. Yes, I said entertainment twice, to reiterate that it is nice to look into your faces on a mostly daily basis when you let us in your homes to make the whole world a stage. Goodbye.